We're in the series of a set of shiurim on the Sefer Das Elakim. In the previous year, we had explained how Kadosh Baruch Hu had a rotzain to be mashpia. In other words, we explained that the whole Chachmas HaEmes is built on three basic yisodos. Yisod Aleph, again, is the fact that there is a Rabbanu Shalom, which goes without saying, but at least we're going to say it. Yisod number two is that Kadosh Baruch Hu has a rotzain to be mashpia. Now, why does HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be mashpia? Either to be moidia himself, kaviyaho, or to be mative to the brios, to what's lower than him, to what he's been creating. And three is that there's ways and means, the vehicles by which HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mashpia to us, and the corollary of that, the way we are davak to him. Now, in the previous year, we discussed the concept called Ein Sof. Now, the Ein Sof kaviyaho is, at least according to the Leshem, is not HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself per se, because to talk about the Atzmus of Kadosh Baruch Hu is esher b'shum oifen. Even to call Kadosh Baruch Hu Ein Sof is not shaykh. Sometimes we'll use a lashon of Ein Sof Baruch Hu, true, but it doesn't mean. But it means because Ein Sof being the thing that was created by Kadosh Baruch Hu first, kaviyacho. But to call the Atzmos Ein Sof itself is a diminishment of the Atzmos. So we're not going to discuss that at all. That's literally going to be mala in this limud, to discuss the Atzmos of the Baruch Shalom. Even Ein Sof is kamat mala already, because how can you discuss something which is infinite? But Sof Kol Sof, we are going to say that once an Ein Sof is created, and since Ein Sof is created with a mandate to be mashpia, now mashpia can only be if it has what to be mashpia to. So that would necessitate something lower than it. Now, how are you going to make something lower than Ein Sof? Because Ein Sof is defined by an Ora Pashit. That's Mamole Kalamatzias. So therefore, there is no below and there is no above. In fact, later on, we're going to learn that this is what we call the concept of Shava B'Shava, that they're similar, a sense of completeness. So because there is no noisid and no distinct makabel. So what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do is he's going to create a makabel. What is the makabel that he's going to create? That's going to be what we call the Mokum Ponai, or the Mokum Tzimtzum. This vacated area, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do is he's going to take from the Or Ein Sof and he's going to vacate it. And in this empty spot, if you will, and the truth is the spot is not empty because there's a reshima of the Or that's left behind. But Sof Kol, and that reshima is pretty chashuv. But kifi, what was before, we'll call it vacated. So now you have something mala and you have something mata. You have something called mashpiyah and something called makabel. Because what you have is you have the Ein Sof HaSoviv, and then you have the Mokum Ponai. So the Ein Sof HaSoviv will be completely shalom, vis-a-vis the Mokum Ponai, which we're going to call chaser. So now the Ein Sof has what to be mashpiyah too. So and the whatever is going to be in the Mokum Ponai, because we're going to see that all the olamais are built within that Mokum Ponai. That Mokum Ponai has what to grow up towards and to move back into. Basically, this is because in the Bechina of Ein Sof, there's no actualization; it's pure potentiality. But once we've moved into the Bechina of a Mokum Ponai, along with the Or Ein Sof HaSoviv of it, so now we've moved into a Bechina of actualization, because the Ein Sof is actualizing itself by making a Mokum by which it can be mashpiyah too. But Me'ida Gisa, in order for the Mokum Ponai to actualize itself, it has to redovik itself with the Or Ein Sof HaSoviv. That's called in Chachmas HaEmes man, or Mayim Nukvim, and Mad, Mayim Dechurim. Mayim Dechurim is the shefa that comes in from on high down, and Mayim Nukvim is the shefa that his iris that comes from below up. And we explain that the Mayim Dechurim, what's connecting the Bechina of the Or Ein Sof HaMakiv with the Mokum Ponai, is what we call the Kav of the Or Ein Sof. Kav, from Russian like a line, which is basically a pipeline which is going to pump in the Or. And 99.9%, or the majority of the Or, is going to come in ayadei this Kav. And that's what's going to connect the Elyon, which is the Ein Sof, to the Takdoin, which is the Mokum Ponai. And this Kav, we explained, is nothing less and nothing more than all of Torah and Mitzvahs, because this is the Gili of Elakus, which is going to be within this Mokum Ponai. So the higher up you are, the closer you are, Kaviyachol, to the Ein Sof HaSoviv. So the Kaviyachol, the closer you are to the Rabbanu Shalom. The lower down the Kav you are, the farther away Kaviyachol you are from the Rabbanu Shalom, because the Kav doesn't go all the way to the other end, but it stops somewhere, in the middle or past the middle. Shtikol Machlokes where it exactly stops, but Sof Kol Sof, it doesn't go to the other end. Now, one more thing I just want to speak up because it comes up all the time. There's a concept in Chachmas Emes of Chasadim and Gevuros. Let me explain. The Chasadim and Chesed is the bechina of being mashpia, because Chesed wants to be mashpia, whereas Gevura is the bechina of not being mashpia, of being kovetz into itself or collecting into itself, kind of like mayim and eish l'mashal. You see, mayim wants to spread and it wants to be dovik. Like almost like take a dough. So you have many particles, right? That were the flour, and the water comes together and it makes it one big mass. That's it being misyached. Mashiach, the Gvuras wants to break apart, like fire wants to break things apart. You understand? Well, Chesed, in order to operate, needs a little bit of Gevura, and Gevura, in order to operate, needs a little bit of Chesed. But where you have too much of one or too much of the other, you have polar opposites. Chesed, mitzad itself, just sits and does nothing. It's pure potentiality, but it does not exactly nothing. Mashiach, Gevura, if it doesn't have a proper mituk, which we mean doesn't have the proper chasadim, then what it does is it eats itself up to the point where it becomes total blackness. When it has the proper mizuk, that would be like a match that's lit that's lit. The match would be the bechinas of the chasadim, and the fire, which is being put on it, would be the bechinas of the gevuros. So there we have a proper mizuk of chasadim and gevuros. Then you have something called or, which can be meir. Now, such a proper mizuk is what we call a zivug in the Chachmas Emes. Now, the reason why I'm bringing in these concepts at this point is just because we're going to see, Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach, that many different concepts in Chachmas Emes all point towards the same place. And many different things that we speak about in Chachmas Emes are just different manifestations of the same Bechina. So when you have something called an Ein Sof, Kaviyachol, that's Bechinas Chasadim, if you will, because that's an or Pashit that doesn't move anywhere, Kaviyachol. Then when you have something called the Mokum Ponei, that would be Gvura, because that's Gevura without a Hamtaka, pure blackness, or at least Kaviyachol, pure blackness vis-a-vis the pure white, that's side of it. And then the Kav coming in to unite the Or Ein Sof HaMakif along with the Mokum Ponei, that would be the mituk, or the zivig, if you will, between the Chasadim and the Gevuros. And with the two together, right, a creation can be made. Because the emes is that Shraga B'Tahir Alam Ali. There's no tachlis, there can be no gili in the Ein Sof Mitzad itself. But if you have a Mokum Ponei, which is kind of like a chalkboard, kind of like a blackboard, if you will, and then the chalk, being the white, can now write on that chalkboard, you can now have a gili of oisius, which is something that you would not have had within the Ein Sof itself, because a writing with white chalk on a white chalkboard will not give you any gili at all. But writing on a black chalkboard will. Okay. Now, Adkan, we've been describing the olam of the Kab and Simsum, which is an olam mole mitzad itself. Now, all the olamites are going to be built within this Mokum Ponei. The first olam that's built in this Mokum Ponei is called the Bechina of Adam Kadmon, which is basically the inyan of Eser Spherois, which come manifest. In other words, if we would say that the first of the Giluyim of Kadosh Baruch Hu, Kaviyachol, is the Ein Sof itself, because Kaviyachol, that is a Gili, because that's the first Gili Achad the Atzmus, which is not sure to speak about, like we said. The second Gili would be the Gili of the Kav and Simson, which is the world of black and white, or the world of the Chasadim and the Gevuros, the Chasadim being the white and the Gevuros being the black, being made manifest. And then the third Gili is going to be the Gili of something called Adam Kadmon. Now, Adam Kadmon is going to be the first Nivra, the first olam, which is created within this Mokum Ponei. And it doesn't mean Adam Harishon. Again, let me make that clear. Adam Harishon comes much, much lower. What it is they're olamites, and the reason why they call it Adam Kadmon is because we're going to see Be'ezus Hashem, at least in the Bechina of the Yosher of Adam Kadmon, because Adam Kadmon will have two Bechinas, the Bechina of Yosher and the Bechina of Igulim. So in the Bechina of Yosher, there will be Eser Spheres, and the Eser Spheres are going to look, Kaviyachol, like our Eser Spheres. What that means we'll get to Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach. But that's going to be the template for which later man will be built. And that's going to be the ultimate template of all of the Inyanim within the Mokum Ponei. You see, the Kav and Adam Kadmon are going to relate to each other, right? And the Kav is going to be the Pneumius of Adam Kadmon. In other words, the way it's going to work is like this. We're going to see that the linkage between the olamites is that the lowest part of the higher olam is going to link its way into the highest part of the lower olam. So Mamela, it comes out that in the Or Ein Sof HaMakif, the lowest part, Kaviyachol, because it's Kaviyachol to say lowest part of Ein Sof, but the lowest part of the Ein Sof is going to be the Kav, and that's coming into the Mokum Ponei. And that's going to leak its way, and that's going to be mislavish itself. This is a lashon that we use all the time. That's going to be a neshama, if you will, for ak, or adam kadmon, which is going to be the highest point in the mokum ponai itself. Now, adam kadmon is going to manifest itself in terms of two bechinas yosher and bechinas ego. The bechinas yosher will be a bechinas neshama vis-a-vis bechinas ego, which will be bechinas guf connected that, because that's how Akash Baruch decided to make the olamais, in order with a panemius and a chitzonius. Panemius bechinas neshama shaboy, and the chitzonius, right, with the bechinas guf shaboy. So Kaviyachol, even though we talk in terms, and we have to understand, of course, even though we use a lashon of guf, God forbid, chas v'shalom, to think that it's guf mamish, because we're dealing with dvarim ruchniim, which do not have gufos like we do. So I want to go now. So with that introduction, let's go weiter in the Sefer Das Elakim. We're holding on Dav Chav, and we're holding by Igulim to Adam Kadmon. So first we're going to describe the Igulim, how they're formed, and then we're going to go into Yosher of Adam Kadmon. Okay? So let's go. So Igulim to Adam Kadmon. Gili Bechinas Igulim hu. The Gili of the Bechinas of the Igulim are Ki Ke Asher Boko Akav of Maor Ein Soif. So as the kav drills its way, if you will, right, into the mokum ponai, because you have to understand, this kav, like we said before, it's not going to go all the way to the other end. So, man, this kav, you're going to have a bechinas mala and ma'ata within the kav. In other words, and that will make it that there will be bechina of closer to Hashem and farther away from Hashem. Kavyochel. So, it's not in his pashat that much. It's in his pashat only a drop. If it goes a little bit in to the mokum ponai, miyad, immediately his chalis agal tzuris gilgul techelal hatzimsum korav l'sfas halal. So it immediately makes like a circle, because you see, which is going to be close to the to the edge of the halal. Now, igel zeh hunis atzol rishon. This igel will be the first created thing, and we're going to call that actually keser, the eagle of keser. And because it's and even though it's the close to the or ein sof, which is outside this halal, this empty space, it doesn't touch it on all sides. It doesn't touch it at all. It only touches it by the kav. And kol ikra his kashrusay shana atzel hazeh ima atzilei. And the his kashrus, the connection between this na'atzel, this created thing, being the eagle, with its matzila, with its creator, any ela b'chinas hakav hanifker, only I date this kav. Asher derek by nimshach v'yorda or ein sof, that through this kav, the or of the ein sof comes down, umashpia be'eagle zeh, b'midu b'mishkol, and it's mashpia to this eagle with just the right amount, l'fi erko shena atzel, according to what this created thing needs. This is called the Gilgul of Spheres Keser. Okay, Bez Hashem, when we get into the Yosher of Adam Kadmon, we'll describe more the Ian of the Esser Spheres. But the first of the Spheres is Keser, and we'll also define what they are. Now, Kivish is also Gilgul Keser. Once the Gilgul of Keser has been created, so now the Kav goes down a drop more. So you got what's going on. What happens is the Kav was his Pasha to drop, and it made a first circle. And then it's his Pasha again, and now it's going to make another circle. So now a second circle is being made. This will be the Gilgul of Chachma. And along this way, it keeps on going down. Until there's a 10th eagle which is being made, which will be the sphere of Malchus, which is the last of the Esser spheres. And that doesn't close up, because you see there's still a lot of room left in this mokum ponai, because these are going to be the Esser Igulim of Adam Kadmon. And Adam Kadmon is only the first of the Olamites, but we're going to have 4 other Olamites within this mokum ponai. We're going to have the Olam Atzilus, the Olam Bria, the Olam Yitziri, and the Olam Asiyah. So therefore, there still has to be a lot of space left in the mokum ponai in order to incorporate those Olamites. Now, so what ties together all these Igulim? Kav Ein Saif, Hamas Pashat, V'yord Me'igel Le'igel. This is the Kav Ein Saif, which is this Pashat that goes down from one eagle to the next. That through that alone is miskasher all the Igulim one to another. Abu Shar Sivas Ha'egolim, and miskasher stuff can klal. But anywhere else, it's the Igulim are not connected at all. V'derech HaKav Hazeh, Nimshach HaShefa Mina Ein Sof HaMakiv L'Kol Igel V'Igel. And through that kav is Nimshach Shefa from the Ein Sof HaMakiv to all each and every eagle. Ubezed Nishlam Bir Gili Eser Spheres Rishonim Mechinas Igulim. This is the end that we're going to talk about the Bechinas of the Igulim. When the first Art the Bechinas Eser Spheres the Yosher Shinis Galachraim, and then we're going to explain the Eser Spheres of Yosher, which are Megala afterwards. Now, because we're going to see Be'ezes Hashem that these Igulim act as a Mokaim for the Yosher, and each Mokaim will have specifically Kifi that Mokaim. Let me explain. The Yosher, we said before, is going to be the Bechina of the Torah. Now, where the Torah is limitless, as we know. Where the Torah, Akorchach is limitless because it's the Gili of the Or Ein Sof within the Mokum Ponai, as we said, because it's this Kav. But where the Torah hits, that's how the Torah will be Megala itself. Let me explain, just to give a mashal, this concept. We know that Adam Arishon was placed in Gan Eden La'avda Ol Shamra, and Chazal Darshan to do Mitzvah Says and Mitzvah Lois Says. So the kasha is pashut, which Mitzvah Says and Mitzvah Lois Says did he have? Because l'chayra he didn't have Mitzvah Yibum because he wasn't going to die. He didn't have Mitzvah Nachalois because he wasn't going to die. So what did those mitzvahs mean by him? And all other mitzvahs that we have. So in other words, so what happened is that his mitzvahs were at a higher level than our mitzvahs, because his eagle was higher than our eagle. Mashiach, when he fell after he was chayta, he became a hizgashimistic person, kavyochel, like we are. And Mamela, that eagle became a gashvistic eagle, kavyochel. So now at the point where the kav hits the hizgashimistic eagle where we are, Mamela, our Torah is a hizgashimistic Torah. It's like shor shanach chesapara, right? That's mamish. You have my ox gores your cow. So that is Torah's Hashem mamish, because what happens is that is the eagle hitting that point. The kav hitting that point of the eagle, because that's the eagle we're holding in now. It's like the difference between the luchas rishonos and the luchas shniyos. The luchas rishonos, remember, were carved out. The luchas themselves were carved out Aidei Kadosh Baruch Hu, and the ksab was Aidei Kadosh Baruch Hu. The luchas shniyos, on the other hand, were carved out Aidei Moshe, but still the ksab was Aidei Kadosh Baruch Hu. So it was the same Torah, but it was a more gashvistic manifestation of that Torah. So Mamela, Torah's Adam Arishon was Kaviyochel, the same Torah as ours, but then again not the same Torah as ours. The Torah, it's the same Torah as ours because the Torah is the Gili Ratzon of the Rabbanu Shalom Aidei the Kav. But the manifestation of the Torah might be different because where we're holding, or where Adam Rishon was holding, or the way it's going to be in Gan Eden, or the way it'll be in Olam Haba, and v'chula, v'iter and v'iter as you move up. Because as you move up the Kav, you move up in Igulim also. So therefore, the manifestation of how the Kav will present itself and that oilam will be different based on that particular ego. Okay, we'll stop here. And in Mitzvah Hashem, in the next year, we'll move into the Yosher of Adam Kadmon.
רבי שמעון פתח ואמר לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה עילאין שמעו אינון דמכין דחברון וראיה מהמנה התערו משנת תיכון הקיץ ורנינו שוכני עפר אילנינון צדיק היה דינון מסתרה דאו דית מרבר אני שנה וליבי ער ולבינון מתים ובגין דית מרברון הקיץ ורנינו שוכני עפר ראיה מהמנה אנט ואבהן הקיצו ורננו לתערותה דשכנתה תהי ישנה בגלותה דעת כען צדיק היה כולו דמכין ושנתה בחוריון מיד יאיבת שכנתה תלת כליל לגבי ראיה מהמנה ואם מלא קום ראיה מהמנה דעה לך יתמר כל דודי דופק לגבי בארבעת ונדילה ואימה בהון פתחי לי אחותי רעייתי יונתי תמתי דעה תמעבונך בציון לא יוסיף להגלותך, שראשי נמלטל, מאי נמלטל, אלא אמר קודשה בריחו, אנט חשבת דמי עומד התחרב במקדשה, דעלנה בביתה דילי, ועלנה בישובה, לאו הכי, דלא עלנה כל זמנה, דען בגלותה, הרי לך סימנה, שראשי נמלטל, שכינתה בגלותה, שלימוד דיללה, וחיים דיללה, איהו טל, ודא, איהו אות יוד, ועוד כ' ועוד ו', ועוד כ' שכינתה דלה מחושבן טל, אלא יוד כ' ו', דיסליקוות מלחושבן טל, דיו מליה לשכינתה מן אביעו, דכל מקורי נעילין. מיד קם ראיה מהמנה, ובהן קדישין אמה, עד כאן רזד ייחודה, ברוך אדוני לעולם, אמן ואמן.